whoever wields this sword has the right to lay claim to the Mandalorian throne.
You keep it. I just want the kid.
Very well. I've already got what I want from him. His blood. All I wanted was to study his blood. This child is extremely gifted and has been blessed with rare properties that have the potential to bring order back to the galaxy.
In the Mandalorian Season 2 finale, Moff Gideon reveals that he has everything he needs from Grogu, and that all he wanted was to examine the blood of an extremely gifted Force user. However, the show doesn't explain to us why he needed the blood in the first place, and what was the end objective. Before I start the video, I would just like to ask you to please consider subscribing to the channel if you've enjoyed my content. I really want to take this channel as far as I can go, so if you could help out, I would be very thankful. On to the video. So now that Gideon has made known that he has finished his research on Grogu's blood, what was the blood used for? What sinister plans does the Empire have up its sleeve? I've managed to come up with two separate answers to this question. The first and most obvious answer, of course, is that Grogu's blood will be used in the creation of Snoke. As it is hinted throughout the entire season, the cloners that we have seen repeatedly throughout the show may have some sort of connection to the creation of Palpatine's new body. And of course, the cloners couldn't just create any type of clone, and had to create a body that was Force sensitive for Palpatine to inhibit. But, as we have seen in Star Wars history, especially in Legends, it is very difficult to create a successful Force-sensitive clone. We have seen this especially in the Force Unleashed 2 story, whereby Vader attempts to clone Galen Marek, but had to go through many failures before getting it right. Which means that because it is so difficult to get it right, the cloners would need a steady fresh supply of Force-sensitive DNA in order to continue their work. This means that when Moff Gideon states that he had completed his research, it could mean that the cloners have all they need to create Palpatine's new body. The second possibility enters heavily into the realm of speculation and the future of the Mandalorian show. Following the Battle of Jakku, we learned that the Empire, or whoever were considered as true loyal Imperials, fled into the unknown regions where they would later establish the First Order. Which begs the question, what is Moff Gideon doing in this part of the galaxy and not in the unknown regions like the rest of the Empire? What if Moff Gideon isn't a real Imperial? What if Moff Gideon was left behind as he wasn't considered to be part of the true Empire? Or maybe he decided not to go. If we follow this assumption, this leaves us a lot of room for speculation as to what Moff Gideon is using Baby Yoda's blood for. A major clue as to what he may be doing can be found in Chapter 14, titled The Jedi, in which it is revealed that Ahsoka is tracking Grand Admiral Thrawn. So what if Moff Gideon was actually working for Grand Admiral Thrawn? Now what we do know is that Favreau and Filoni have planned for the Star Wars universe whereby you have separate storylines within the same time period that all lead up to one climactic event. So it wouldn't be too far-fetched if there was some tie-in here, and it would explain why Moff Gideon isn't in the unknown regions. But what would Thrawn use Force-sensitive blood for? Unlike Palpatine, Thrawn wouldn't be using it to make himself Force-sensitive, so that rules out that possibility. But I think the answer lies in Thrawn's ultimate objective, which is to prepare the Chiss ascendancy for the incoming invasion by the Grisk hegemony in the unknown regions. If you're unfamiliar with who Thrawn is and what the Grisk are, I recommend you watch my Thrawn video where I explain his origins and details, linked on the top right. In Chiss society, Force users were rare and mostly manifested itself in the female side of the species, until they hit adulthood, which is when the ability itself would disappear. The Chiss called Force users Skywalkers in their language. Force-sensitive people in Chiss society were highly prized as they were used to navigate the treacherous space of the unknown regions, guiding ships to avoid gravitational anomalies and such. The Force users were not only valued by the Chiss, but were also sought after by the Grisk hegemony, who frequently kidnapped such individuals for their own militaristic purposes. So what if Thrawn, in preparation for the incoming Grisk invasion, sought after a way to arm and prepare the Chiss by creating and providing more Force-sensitive individuals to guide the Chiss fleet? I think this is a distinct possibility, as it would then make sense as to why Moff Gideon was interested in Baby Yoda's blood, as he worked for Thrawn. So let me know what you think about my theory. Please consider subscribing and liking this video, hit the bell icon for more Star Wars content, and as always, I am the Lost Acolyte,
and I have spoken.